Hey everyone, it's the Crypto Dealer and welcome back to another video. I hope you all had a really lovely New Year's and Christmas if you celebrate it. I know I did have quite a good time. I seen a bunch of fireworks and I went on like a lodge trip to the middle of nowhere with a bunch of friends, so it was pretty good fun. Today we're going to be kicking off a brand new series called What's in My Bags. I'm pretty excited for this one because if you follow my Twitter, you know that I used to post all these lists of the coins I was holding or looking to get into. I haven't done that in a while, so I thought, why not make this into a bit of a video? There's no real time scale on when each of these series will be put out because a lot of it just depends on what I'm holding or if I've changed it or whatever. Recently I've been doing a lot of quick flips, so there haven't been a lot of long-term bags, but right at this moment I have two solid bags that I'm holding. And I also have another coin that I'm potentially looking to get into. I have to say that normally I'm a bit weird with trading altcoin bags and I often keep less than 5, but normally around the 2 to 4 mark. I know a lot of people who have bags of like 30 altcoins, and you know, I personally, that would stress me out too much. You know, I like to keep things clean and simple and relatively low risk, especially if you're managing larger volume like I do. An average quick flip bag will be about 10 bitcoins worth, and if I'm doing a longer term bag, they'll often be over 20, near 30 bitcoins, which means I have to be pretty calculated and safe if I want to make decent and solid returns. I'd say that depending on how much liquidity you're dealing with, that's probably going to be a big factor in how you trade altcoins. I personally, you know, a coin can move 25% and I've made a pretty solid return, but a lot of other people chase 10x's or even 100x's in some rare cases. But for me, I'm very much happy with a minimum of 25% per coin. But often, unless I think it doesn't have any legs in it to go further, I'll at least hold for a 50%. It really just depends on the coin and knowing what you know about it. Often my bags will have strong fundamentals which I've entered technically very well. Definitely in the last year I've learned to be really patient and only buy at a price you're willing to pay for something. Right now I'm keeping myself pretty open. I'm kind of split about 30% altcoins, near enough 50% bitcoins, and then the rest is in fiat, ready to jump back in if I need to. I think potentially we're going to see Bitcoin go off and challenge for a new all-time high. So I'm being pretty cautious about trading altcoins right now, especially when a lot of the coins I've traded have been for 2 to 3x's, and I've made back all the Bitcoin I sold and more in the last few weeks. So I'm only trying to hold things that have long-term value and things that, you know, I'm happy to hold for 2 or 3 years to get a good return. This is definitely quite a tricky time to try and be ahead of the pack here, which is what a lot of my strategies are based upon. It isn't that tricky to trade necessarily because there's coins pumping like 50% in one day, so there's plenty to be out there if you're alert and looking. But if you're wanting to build something a bit longer term, personally I'd hold off. It is a bit tricky though, because although a lot of coins have 2 or 3x or even more in the last few weeks, most of them are still down over 50% from the highs of 2017. I feel like a lot of market caps are heavily artificially inflated, which is only going to bring some tears at some point. I've been buying things as low as possible and then making sure they have strong fundamentals and a bright future. I know that this kind of limits my opportunities right now, considering there's a lot of things booming, but you have to play safe and you have to manage what you have, because there's nothing worse than losing like 20-30% of your portfolio in a matter of a week or something, which has actually happened to me, especially some of the earlier alt runs in 2016. If you're unsure or not 100% confident, then don't try and play it. I do have my eyes on quite a few coins, but I'm pretty confident in the next month or so I should be able to buy them back at a fairly lower price. There's quite a lot of inexperienced and new money in the markets, and I think the market makers are going to take advantage of that at some point and make them panic sell on a dip, and that's where I want to be buying. So let's actually just get down to discussing what's in my bags. Currently there are 2 coins and there is one that I'm seriously considering entering. although I'm going to wait for Bitcoin to kind of clarify what that's up to. The first is XCP, which is Counterparty. It's kind of like an OG altcoin. It's been around for 2 or 3 years, and recently it broke out of like a 2-year downtrend if you look at this chart, which I'm going to put on the screen here. Fundamentally, I'd say Counterparty is pretty strong. It's a protocol based on the Bitcoin network, so that brings it kind of an added stability compared to other tokens and assets. It already provides a platform for a bunch of games such as the BitCrystals game and Databits, and also it hosts the Pepe cards assets. They have quite a few upgrades to the protocol planned, and the main one that I'm pretty excited about is the implementation of smart contracts. Now, smart contracts are essentially, in my opinion, the only cutting edge Ethereum has over Bitcoin. So if these smart contracts on the Counterparty protocol really get hold of everyone's imagination, we could see a shift from Ethereum tokens to more Bitcoin based tokens. They also have a few interesting projects coming up, such as a Bitcoin bank. Here's a little image talking about it. I'm not mad excited for this, but it's always good to see products and projects being launched on Counterparty. I have an average entry price of about 160,000 Satoshis per Counterparty, which is pretty solid, and right now is up over 100%. However, the main purpose of this bag is if Bitcoin does go up to an all-time high, I would like to sell a good chunk of Bitcoin at the peak. And the goal with this Counterparty bag is to eventually make back all the Bitcoin I've sold. If the price of one Counterparty goes over about 700,000 Satoshis or even more, then I'm going to be in a really good position and have a lot more options in the future. It is possibly one of the largest bags I've ever made to begin with, and now it's pretty massive considering it's gone up so much. I would say that it's maybe not the safest coin to enter, as liquidity is pretty thin a lot of the time, and also it makes quite violent moves because of the lack of liquidity. But if you're willing to hold it for 2-3 years like I am, then I think eventually you'll make a really substantial return. But obviously you need to be looking for a good entry and trying to get the best price that you possibly can. Okay, so the second coin in my bag is Monetary Unit. For the last few months I've been running 2 Monetary Unit masternodes, which have generated about 35,000 coins roughly. That's already about a Bitcoin's worth of coins that the masternodes have generated, which is an amazing return for the last 2 months. And also the price has gone up over 50% for me since I bought them, so I'm in quite a good position and fairly risk-free right now. The main kind of thinking behind this for me was a few months ago I was considering buying an apartment and like renting it out, but I'm a pretty lazy guy and it was a lot of effort to get a house and then rent it out and make sure you have insurance and all that. So I decided to go down the route of buying a few solid masternodes. At the time they cost slightly less than a pretty small flat in my area. The plan is potentially to hold these masternodes for potentially forever if they continue to make solid gains. Basically the plan is to cash out all the coins generated on each peak of every cycle, so I'm still holding everything I've made so far. Monetary Unit itself is a pretty old school coin too, and I would say in the current climate it's actually kind of undervalued. They have a really dedicated and hard-working team and have produced quite a lot of interesting ideas and products over the years, and they also have quite a few that they're currently working on. They have pretty established merchant connections, and there's also ways to purchase Monetary Unit directly from fiat currency, which is something that a lot of coins don't actually have. They're currently near the end of releasing their Forex platform. I'm pretty sure this is like a re-release because I'm pretty sure I checked out a previous version of this about 6-7 months ago, and they're also going to be releasing a multi-coin wallet which will allow you to stake proof of stake coins. I definitely check out everything they have going on and join their Slack. It's quite a low-key coin in the sense that they don't do a lot of heavy promotion, and a lot of the time it flies under the radar, even though it's had a very strong performance in the last year, and it's also maintained its price in a pretty stable way too. Okay, so the third coin which I'm looking to enter at some point is Numerare. The main reason for this is that it hasn't really went up a lot in this current alt season, and it's also got a relatively small market cap. I'm holding off on buying on it primarily because I'm not sure what Bitcoin's up to yet. If it does go on to make all-time highs, then I'm pretty confident I can get a better price for it than I currently can. Basically, they are developing AI programs to trade stocks and other markets, and basically they're using most of the money they raised in their ICO to create a hedge fund which employs all the protocols and programs that they've created. Basically, they have a lot of data scientists working on different ways to optimize gains in trading stocks, and obviously the data scientists working on these will be rewarded with the coin, which creates the incentive to maintain the project. Something that I did think was really clever about this is that they won't just go with one artificial intelligence program. They're going to diversify into a bunch of them. You know, if one was to go wrong, you know, they wouldn't be heavily hit. So there's quite a lot of clever thinking behind this, and even cleverer AI. I think once they get up and running, and if they can make it profitable, then it could be a really good long-term buy. But as I said, for now, I'm still watching and waiting. That's basically it for this video. Hopefully, you know, it was a wee bit interesting to see what coins I'm holding and what my mindset is with trading right now. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up because I'm planning to make it a regular series, or alternatively, if you didn't like it very much, then give it a thumbs down, but I'd rather you didn't do that. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, and thank you to everyone who's subscribed already. I'm nearing 100 subscribers, which is a great milestone to hit within the first month or so of launching my channel. I have a few videos planned that I'm gonna work through, so hopefully you should enjoy them as well. They should be up in the next week or so too. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.